Hi guys, what's up? What's up? It's been a minute. I have missed you guys so much. Our faithful and wonderful audience, guys, you have been amazing. Our previous episode had great feedbacks, and I want to thank all of you for being with us and staying tuned anytime we come with our videos. Thank you so much for the words of motivation and support. Yes. So we are back. Okay, as time goes on, we'll be adding more, guests as God will. But our quest is to just find all the informations that we can that we believe can help you, help your friend, help your family, and so yeah, anything that is good, we make sure we bring it to you. All right, we are entering into a new episode this season, and trust me, it's going to be bigger and better. Okay, and we're going to have a good time. So just stay on there, stick with us, and we'll love to always have you here with us. Yes, today we have a very wonderful topic, and it's something that I have been thinking about for a while now. Maybe for a long while, maybe. Just that I had to like refresh in my memories. And yeah, I had to go back to this topic. And so I just want us to, dive a bit into it. And I'd love to hear your comments and your feedback on this particular topic because it means a whole lot to me. And that is faith and science. Faith and science. Um, I know you'd be wondering, what about it? Faith and science. It's a topic that is very, delicate because it's more like see it as two good friends or two great best friends. So more like you have a friend and the person feels, okay, now I'm better off alone. I don't need your influence and all that, right? And so they began to grow apart. Like they began to just, move further away from each other. And that's what happened to faith and science. Okay. So now before we move any further, let's talk about what science is really. What is science? I know you're going to make your integrated teacher proud and your science teachers proud. So, should I wait a minute or two for me to hear what your definition is? Okay, take 1, 2. All right. So, for those who are still opening their books, it's okay. Let me define science for you. So, science is is a discipline, right? That seeks to use systematic processes, right, to understand the natural world around us through observation and experimentation. Keywords are processes, systematic processes, observation and experimentation. So they use a lot of, tests and hypotheses, logic to explain the world around us, creation. Whilst faith, right? On the other hand, faith talks about a connection with a bigger God, with something we can't, what is not tangible, a connection to a higher power. That kind of that explains everything. So it ends there, right? But can you imagine? Faith was actually sponsoring, or let me say, the faith institutions actually sponsored science to bring science to where it has come to, right? So they are always intertwined some way somehow, but it just happened that science got wanted to be its own authority, and when it got its capacity up there, it decided to separate itself from faith. But also, that kind of thing, or it's also documented that faith kind of influences faith kind of influenced science in a way that science felt it was controlling. So it wanted to like come with its own, you know, research, or come out with its own findings and explain it the way like they want to explain it to be, not depending on faith, and faith coming into control, and determining how things should go. So basically, if you get what I'm trying to say, I'm just trying to say that two friends, one bigger than the other, and the other didn't want the other to influence, control him forever, and so they decided, okay, now I have my I'm a big man now, I can just do my own thing, and so I can go my way, we are no more friends. Yes. If you're also looking at science, right, we are looking at it being a means to question some sort of intelligence and finding it out. Do you get it? It's questioning and finding things out. But also faith has the same thing, right? It's just not there's no difference between the two, because faith also questions, right, to find a god that created these things. Like, okay, if there's this intelligence, or if there's this, phenomena, how did it come about? We want to question that and know who is behind it, right? So they're virtually doing the same thing. I know they might be a bat, but it's just the same. They're just like close friends who decide to fight. Yeah, like basically we have that kind of friend. Also, you realize that most of the scientists we had back in those days were all believers. I mean, most of them were all believers. You have like Orville Wright, Wilbur Wright. They created, the airplanes we see today. We have even Isaac Newton, right? What did Isaac Newton create? Huh? Please don't disgrace your science teacher. Okay, please. We want you to like make your science teacher proud. Okay, I wouldn't tell you what he created. We can just answer that. I mean, answer me down there. I mean, in the comments. Okay, we have people like I think Georges Lemaitre. I hope I mentioned the name right. He's a Frenchman. All these people were all like from the gospel, like the church side, and were great scientists. So science has always had the faith in there. These are people with faith, and I believe even the kind of intelligence they had and all that was given to them by God, and they acknowledged that. And that's how come such scientists had great, inventions that could change the world today, because they were not going to do anything absurd or bad. They use that intelligence to create something that we can use today. All right. So yes, there's still some sort of connection between science and faith. Science gives the power to do incredible things, right? Because it gives you that space and equipment and the discipline, to study, and it's like some sort of power it gives you to do to find out things, to search atoms, elements, put things together, quantum physics, quantum space and jumping, so many quantums, right? Quantum spectrum and all that. You realize that all these things gives you power to explore, right? It gives you some sort of power, and faith does the same thing. Faith gives you that power to, connect with your creator. And when you also connect with your creator, you are empowered to do more. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If you don't get it, forget it. But it's the same thing, really. It's the same thing. All I'm trying to hammer out is science and faith are like the same, virtually. Okay, and I remember before I started this, I spoke about how that they were friends before. One was the big brother, that was faith, and the other was the little brother. Now, science was sponsoring. Sorry, the church was sponsoring science, right? It's not like your big brother sponsoring you, like supporting you. And now you feel like, oh, you're also the big boss. You want to be on your own, right? So that's what happened. So science and faith had something to do together, but eventually, when science felt they are, they've reached, they can take care of themselves now. They wanted the big brother Faith to go and sleep somewhere, because also they felt big brother was controlling. Faith was determining how to explain things. When they wanted to like come all out with what they are seeing and interpret things their own way, sometimes they were a bit controlled by how Faith sees things. So they decided, this time we have the power. We don't need your controls, right? We are going to stand on our own as a great field on its own, and we're going to explore whatever we want to explore and come out the way we want to come out. So basically, that has been the history of faith and science, the two best friends or siblings not seeing eye to eye. Okay, I think there was this other point I wanted to talk about. There are lots of them, but I'm just trying to make it as basic as possible for you, my audience, to, kind of like take it in and digest it easily. Science presents a reality that is far beyond what we see. It's like it's beyond ourselves. It invites us to be in awe of, the things around us. And faith does the same thing. Faith talks about a big God, you know, and it invites us to see outside the physical, what we have or what we can see. I think one verse in the Bible talks about the things we do not see are permanent and the things we see are temporal. So faith has that thing on us. And so the both of them are again and again and again the same. All right. When both work together, right? When science and faith works together, whether in medicine, in astronomy, environmental science, social science, there are so many sciences, right? The applied and the pure and all that. But when they all work together, right, they're able to solve the needs of man, both physical needs and the soul needs, right? So it's not just doing all that we want physically, but what about the soul needs? It's solving as well. Okay. Science talks about the how it's happened, right? So if there's a phenomenon, science will come and explain how it happened. Okay. So for example, if there's a mountain formation or a valley formation, science is going to tell you that, there was there was a volcano and the volcano created, the lava from the volcano created, all that solidified and created that mountain, right? Yeah, I love jog. So that created a mountain, and then the valleys could be created through like maybe erosion by the rivers and all that, right? So science is there explaining all these things to us. All right. And science can even go ahead and tell you that this type of mountain was formed through this, that type of mountain was formed through this, because they can take samples, test this, and know, this through a volcanic eruption, that was through this or that. And so it always explains how that thing happened, or a phenomenon happened. And faith explains why faith touches on the why. Why should we have all these great mountains? Why? It's like a reason. The reason why we have all this is to show how beautiful the creator is, how powerful, how majestic he is, and the need for him to create that for us. Okay, so in summary, faith is pointing us towards God. Science is pointing us towards the creation and how it came about, right? Everything about it, to its nitty gritty. So they are the same. If you have any arguments or you think differently, comment below. Now, the reason why I think this topic is very important for us to talk about is we are going into a different part of science in our world that is very complex. It has always been complex, but now we are going into crazy complexity. And we're talking about AI, we're talking about, high techs, we're talking about, crazy things. You and I know, right? You and I, we know. And one thing that I've realized is the distance between science and faith is even wider now. Like the distance, the other is facing north, the other is facing south. And the more there is a break between science and faith, right, then there's no moral compass that tells science to, sometimes do the right things. People are just doing things anyhow. People they're not accountable to anything. Imagine a scientist having all the nuclear knowledge, what I mean is they have all the knowledge to create nuclear weapons, right? If that science had faith, I believe in a bigger God that, loves, that hates wickedness, that hates, bad stuff, right? Or I believe in a God that believes in judgment and justice and righteousness. Do you think the scientists will be, going all over the place, enriching nuclear weapons and doing all those things? They wouldn't do it, because then he has some sort of faith, like a compass that leads him in his field, right? And I believe the more that there's a gap between faith and science, the devil now slides in there, directing people on what to do with the kind of knowledge, the great knowledge they have. Because let's be truthful, these people have high IQs, crazy IQs. For them to even think and do some of these things, that's crazy IQs. Now, if they have these goodies and the devil takes hold of it, then humanity is doomed. We are doomed, guys. We are doomed, because we don't even know what is next for us. Yeah, we don't know what is next for us. So I believe that this topic is very, very important. We need to bring these two friends back. Are you ready to help me bring them back? We need to scientists should be going to church. They are supposed to be the first people, even leading praise and worship. Why? Because they know God, and even us, truly, we know God through his creation. and through so many other things. But seriously, they have the practical knowledge of God. And so they are supposed to be like, leading praise and worship, and we are supposed to be like following behind. Yeah. And I believe it's funny, but it's not funny, right? Because I'm very, very serious here. I believe that, they know God practically than us, and they apply God even practically, actually, right? Because if anybody is close to the creator, there is the one who is also creating, and they are creating crazy stuff, right? But that gap has brought this whole hatred and um giving the devil the chance to go in there and influence certain scientists to be doing what they are not supposed to be doing. Okay, so knowledge of good and evil, this is where we see it. This is where we see they have the knowledge, but they can decide to use it for good or for evil. And if we keep, if we don't bring these two best friends together, then we know that they are parting ways, and evil will surely, I wouldn't say prevail, but to have the upper hand, right? So, what do you think about these two friends? Is there anything you want to share with us? We'll be glad and glad and glad to hear from you. Like, let us know what you think about these two friends, science and faith. Should they come together again? And mind you, now we have AI. Now, even those who created these AIs, they are even afraid. Some of them are coming out to talk about how corrupted it is. These are corrupted programming, software programming that could mess up with us, could mess up, because there are no boundaries to it. Who is checking what, right? So let us know, what do you think about all these things coming in? These topics that are out there. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad to have you always. Watch out for our next episode. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share. We want to hear from you. So let us hear from you. All right. Till we meet again, guys. Bye.